Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Tyree from On the Hot Podcast. Today, I have some bonus content for you guys. The bonus content we'll be covering today will be in the sport of football inside the NFL world. In today's bonus segment, I'll be sharing my top 5 NFL coaches currently in the National Football League today. So on my list, I'll be ranking my coaches from number 1 all the way down to number 5. These are the following 5 coaches I do believe are the best in the NFL today. At number 1, I have Andy Reid. Andy Reid, in my opinion, is one of the greatest offensive masterminds in NFL history, one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. Finds himself as a 3-time Super Bowl champion. At number 2, I have Sean McVay. Boy genius, did not get that nickname by accident. The man is a great offensive-minded guy. Youngest NFL coach to win a Super Bowl with the Los Angeles Rams when he did it at 36 years of age a few years ago. At number 3, I have John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh is a guy that has had the Baltimore Ravens afloat year in and year out as a contender, former Super Bowl champion in his own right. At number 4, I have Kyle Shanahan. Another offensive-minded head coach, another guy that has his team as contenders year in and year out in San Francisco with the San Francisco 49ers. The only thing that he's missing is his own Super Bowl. And number 5, I have Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, the guy that refuses to have a losing season, nearly went 2 decades without having a losing record. Mike Tomlin is also a former Super Bowl champion and refuses to have a losing season. But those are my top 5 NFL coaches. Let's go into a deeper dive of the reason why I have these guys ranked at the positions that I do. So, Andy Reid is, in my opinion, the best NFL coach that the league has to offer today. A 3-time Super Bowl champion and currently helping the Kansas City Chiefs become the dynasty that they are today. One of the greatest dynasties that we're seeing in the modern era right now with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's helped Patrick Mahomes already established himself as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I said it. I feel like Patrick Mahomes is already a top 5, top 3 quarterback in NFL history. And he wasn't that type of guy at Texas Tech. But the way how the collaboration of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid has truly worked out in KC, I have to say that Andy Reid deserves a lot of credit for Patrick Mahomes becoming the player that he is today in the National Football League. And Andy Reid, in his coaching career, he has a total of 258 wins, 26 playoff wins, a total of 5 conference championships combined with his time being with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. So the man is going in the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done. He deserves a lot of credit. Definitely the best coach in the National Football League today. Now, Sean McVay is number 2 on my list. And a lot of people might say, well, why do you have Sean McVay so high? It's because the man is an absolute genius. The Rams aren't where they were a few years ago, but you got to give him credit for his coaching longevity so far, being in the National Football League and being an offensive-minded guy that has adapted to bring out the best of Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford, winning a Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford, but had a lot of success with Jared Goff because he won an NFC title with Jared Goff and got to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff. So he's a 2-time NFC champion, Super Bowl champion. Once again, the youngest Super Bowl champion in NFL history at 36 years of age. I gotta say, he deserves to be number 2 on my list. And also, the tremendous job that he did last year, that impressive second half turnaround that he had with the Rams last year when they started off the season 3-5, and he turned them around to go on a hot streak in the second half of the season to go 10-7 and make the playoffs, just a few plays away from knocking off the Detroit Lions in the wild card game. But Sean McVay's coaching does not go unnoticeable. He's number 2 on my list. Now, number 3 is John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh has had the Baltimore Ravens afloat year in and year out, contenders year in and year out. He's another guy that has adapted a long time being in the position that he's in, from being a special teams coach to being one of the greatest coaches in the National Football League today. And he always has the Baltimore Ravens looking good on both sides of the ball. And that goes to a lot of credit for the guys that he brings in, offensive and defensive coordinators. I mean, look at the jobs that Todd Monken and Greg Roman have done with Lamar Jackson. Both of them have helped Lamar Jackson win MVPs in Lamar Jackson's career. Lamar Jackson also, he's responsible for having Lamar Jackson a part of his team, and Lamar Jackson having one of the best regular season records and starting quarterback history in the NFL. And last year, bringing in Mike Macdonald, a guy that fell from his brother Jim Harbaugh's learning tree when he spent time at Michigan, came in the NFL, put together a dominant force, a dominant wrecking ball in the Ravens defense last year. John Harbaugh deserves a lot of credit for the guys that he brings in to work for him. They work together to have successful years, year in and year out for Baltimore with the Baltimore Ravens. He's number 3 on my list. Now, number 4 is Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan is an offensive mastermind. Yes, Kyle Shanahan, the only stain on his legacy right now is he doesn't have a ring to prove why he could go down as one of the greatest modern day coaches of our era. But he has been a part of 3 Super Bowls. He's just lost 3 Super Bowls. That being the only time he went with the Falcons as an offensive coordinator when he was under Dan Quinn with Atlanta Falcons when they blew that 28-3 lead. And he's lost the Super Bowls twice as the 49ers head coach. But can you really blame him for the 3 losses now that I think about it? Because he went against some all-time greats at quarterback. Tom Brady, the greatest player to ever put on a pair of pads, and then played Patrick Mahomes twice, in my opinion, the second greatest quarterback of all time. So can you really blame Kyle Shanahan for losing those Super Bowls? But I got to say that he deserves a lot of credit for keeping the 49ers afloat, keeping them as the contenders year in and year out. And he helped Matt Ryan win his first and only MVP a few years ago in Atlanta when they did go to the Super Bowl. He made porn star Jimmy Garoppolo look like $1 million. And I said he was always a system guy, but you would never notice in Kyle Shanahan's offense because he was always bringing them success. And he's bringing the best out of Brock Purdy right now. So he's adjusted very well as a play caller in the NFL and has done it with a lot of different quarterbacks, having a lot of different success, being in 3 different Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks. So that goes to the intelligence that he has on the offensive side of the ball. He's number 4 on my list. Now, number 5 is Mike Tomlin. Now, Mike Tomlin is Mr. Consistent. 17 years in a row having a winning record in the National Football League. That is damn near impossible. Going 2 decades not having a losing record in Pittsburgh. But that's the accomplishment that Mike Tomlin has pulled off during his coaching career. He's a former Super Bowl champion, a true leader, holds this team accountable year in and year out, has coached some damn good players in the time that he's been with Pittsburgh. Ben Roethlisberger, Troy Polamalu, James Harrison, Antonio Brown when he had his damn act together, Le'Veon Bell. The list goes on and on of how great of a job that Mike Tomlin has done with so many caliber players, and he's doing it with a really young roster right now. And nearly 2 years of decades of success, not having a losing record. I would personally keep Mike Tomlin around as long as possible in Pittsburgh because why would you get rid of a guy that always finds a way to win? Now, the only thing is he hasn't won a Super Bowl since, 2008, 2009. So it has been a long time, but I guess still got to give a guy his credit because it's already hard as hell to win a Super Bowl in the National Football League. It's even harder to even have a winning record for 17 straight years in a row. But those are my top 5 NFL coaches in the National Football League. That is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for